Processing.
I'm sorry. Try again.
everybody. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Steve.
It's unstable. I'm seeing the signal here. If you want to do an opening, knock yourself out while I check real quick.
Okay, well, awesome. Welcome, everybody. We have some exciting guests today.
Yes, we do.
We have the mom peer, Wilma, and some pups that are going to be highlighted. And then we have
Bam Bam and Pebbles.
Bam Bam and Pebbles. And Steve, remind me where they're from again?
Mountain Mamas Pyrs and Pups.
Excellent.
They're out of Utah. That's where the rescue is. I think what we'll do is, well, let's get her up here. What do you think? Now, since Mountain Mamas and Great Pyrenees Rescue Resource, Utah, Montana, they work very close together.
Okay.
We didn't have time to do a video for the Flintstone litter, is what they call them, the Flintstone pups. Mom, Wilma, and then Bam Bam and Pebbles, the kids. We're gonna play one of the videos that we did for the other Utah rescue, that everybody's friends. So while we're doing that, we'll bring her up, and I'll check see what's wrong with my internet. There we go. Wiley, how are you doing today?
Good.
Good. So, what can you tell us about them special dogs that you have? The Flintstone litter. That's catchy.
Well, Ashley had asked me to name them, and we drove down to New Mexico to pick them up. And right as you leave Colorado, or right before you leave Colorado, there's Flintstone or Bedrock Road. So that's how they got christened, the Flintstones.
Now, what are their names?
There's a brindle male, weighing in at a whopping 43 pounds at 4.5 months at 43 pounds. And
now that was Brindle one, right?
That's Bam Bam. I don't know if you can see him. He's sound asleep.
Yeah, we see you just fine. You don't have to worry about changing the camera. You can just move it over towards them. That way we don't too. There he is. There's Bam Bam. Yay.
Yeah,
Look at
brand
that
new collar. He just got neutered yesterday, so he's good to
sleeping it
go.
off.
His little sister, who's a princess.
Aw.
Oh, look
She
at
looks like a little yellow lab with a big attitude.
Wow. Now they are litter mates, right?
Yes. Yes.
They look so far apart. Never mind. You don't have to answer that.
Right. Well, and she's only 33 pounds, so she's quite small. And Wilma left. We don't know where she is.
Okay.
She's somewhere here in the backyard.
She might be taking a break from her kids too.
Yeah. Well, I think it got too noisy. There was too much going on for her comfort level. So.
Wow. Yeah.
And this is their backyard. So.
Oh my.
nice.
That's a nice backyard.
Yeah.
So
Now, how did you acquire them? How did they come into rescue?
Well, I had lost an Akbash female about 7-8 months ago, and
sorry.
we needed that, comforting bark at night, and I just started looking at into some local rescues that dealt with large white fluffy dogs. And I stumbled across Mountain Pet Rescue up in Winter Park and fostered 2 of their Great Pyrenees and then an Anatolian, and got the Anatolian placed about a month ago. And not exactly sure how I stumbled across Ashley. She had some dogs up in the mountains, a big litter of 11 teenagers that the owner had reached out to her, and so that's how I started talking with Ashley, and those dogs didn't materialize, and then she had these 3 that needed to be picked up in New Mexico. So New Mexico was.
No, really 4 weren't there?
Originally there were 4.
One of the puppies got hit by a car, huh?
Right. The second female.
Is that because they didn't have fencing where these puppies and where Wilma and them were?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's my understanding they were on the street, but I also understand that somebody had picked them up. So
gotcha.
Okay. They were obviously not fed, and they were. I mean, the male pups put on. He's put on almost 20 pounds, and the mama dogs put on 18 pounds in the 3.5 weeks they've been here. So
not even a month yet.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to bring Roman up to sit up here with us. So, and Lisa's shaking her head. Hi, Roman.
Yes. Hi, Roman.
How you doing? Good. What do you think about that story out of New Mexico? Wow. That's something. But nothing surprises the volunteers of rescue anymore, right, guys?
Yeah.
So now are they available for adoption now?
They are. Wilma and Bam Bam just got spayed and neutered yesterday. So that's kind of what we've been waiting on is to get them ready to go out the door. So Wilma will just need to heal up, and she'll be ready. And Bam Bam doesn't even notice anything's different today.
Okay, well, that's awesome. And where they are is at mountainmamapyrs.rescuegroups.org. If you go for them now, they don't have to stay together or anything like that. They can be adopted out individually.
I think they prefer to not be together.
We haven't talked much about Wilma now. We've been talking about the puppies. How old is Wilma?
Wilma's probably somewhere between a year and 2.
Okay.
She's very puppy-like, so she might even be younger than that.
All right. Has she been exposed to other cats, maybe?
I have a lab hound, and she's with that dog all the time.
Okay.
Cats are interesting.
Yes, they are.
She's
That's an understatement.
She's good with horses. She's good with chickens. She's good with geese.
Wow.
The puppies have been
Geese?
exposed.
Wow.
Yeah, the puppies have been
Wow.
exposed as well, and they're terrified of all of them, including the
Okay.
cats.
Because geese will usually charge you if you get too close.
And that's why I have them, because the Akbash was eating chickens, so they cured her of that really quickly.
Okay. Well, and I have nothing against your ox passed away because I like chicken too. Okay. Do you have any questions, Lisa?
Kathy, so tell us about Wilma. You said she's probably a year old, little older. Is she typical Pyrenees?
She's very typical. She's on the small side. She's only 77 pounds.
A pocket peer.
Probably needs to put on at least another 10 pounds, but I don't even know how tall she is, but she's pretty small. She's not going to be a 120 pounder. That's for sure.
She'll have a beautiful
single coat.
Yeah, they had to take her coat down kind of short because of the massive matting that was in it.
Yeah.
And, but she did have a beautiful coat from the picture, even with the matting. While you're talking, I guess I should upload a couple pictures of her that I forgot to do. I'm going to get shot.
She kind of surprises me. She kind of acts like she was a house dog at one point. She can do stairs, she can do dog doors, but she hates the house. She'd much rather be outside 24/7. She just comes in the house to steal stuff to eat.
Oh, she steals stuff to eat.
Yeah, she's a survivor. So she takes stuff just in case food's not going to be there tomorrow.
Oh, pretty girl.
She is.
Yeah,
she is.
That was her first day she was here.
Yeah, she was definitely matted. I saw that.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this on a 27-inch monitor, so I can see quite a bit. And then there's I kind of like that boy now. He's going to be a big one.
Wow. Look at those paws.
That's Bam Bam, right?
It's Bam Bam.
Yes. Roman, this is the Flintstone litter from the cartoons. I don't know if you had that over there or not. Now that's the picture I used on the thumbnail.
Okay.
And I just took the background out. Whoops. I thought I had Pebbles here. There's Pebbles.
Cute.
Isn't she adorable?
She is cute.
Now, what's that? What are those colors that are on her? Those other colors? Is that biscuit like the other color the Akbash can be? You know, patches anyway.
She's got little spots on her back, and then of course her ears are darker. But I don't know if some of that's she'll shed out. You know, when she gets rid of her puppy coat.
Right. Because I tell you, at that age, I don't know about you, but I have no idea. A lot of people will say, well, what do you think's mixed in this puppy? Well, let's let him grow a little bit and let's see how what he grows into.
Yeah.
That's me.
Well, and she is short, has a short coat.
Okay.
So she's.
But I'm seeing it's a double coat though. So.
Yeah, but it's she doesn't have the long coat like her mother.
Gotcha. And Bam Bam, she must have cheated on her hubby to get Bam Bam, right?
Yeah, they're definitely half brother and sister.
I mean, he's beautiful. Look at him.
Where do you get the brindle from? You know, there's very
brindle,
few.
I guess not brindle. I guess that's just what I call it. What do you call it?
I call it brindle.
Oh, okay. All right. I was doing something wrong here.
Yeah.
So we've got. Rena wants to know if is she a farm dog or was she a farm dog? I forgot. I don't have a producer. I got to do it today.
Wilma?
Yeah, Wilma.
I think Wilma'd make an excellent farm dog. I don't know. I mean, she barks at night. When the neighbors' dogs come over, she goes postal on them.
Mm-hmm.
And, so she keeps her eye on the place.
Okay. And you've only had her for 3.5 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, wow, that's amazing. But you don't know from her backstory if she was on a farm or not.
Absolutely not. I mean,
I don't know. I don't know New Mexico. I don't know the different regions that have them. That's just not one of my territories. That's Ashley's.
No, that's
So
big sheep country, but that doesn't mean that's what she was exposed to.
Right. And is she doing well with the animals too? The farm animals that you have?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've taken her down. I mean, she's still a Great Pyrenees. She'll run off if I'm not watching her. So she goes down on a leash, and she doesn't even notice the chickens and the geese. So
yeah. And speaking of Ashley, guess who jumped in? Oh, she's somewhere. Maybe I'll take her back down. She might have gone and got dressed too. I don't know. It's still early out there.
Sorry.
Oh, there she is.
Yes.
Hi, Ashley.
Hi.
Have you met your foster, Kathy?
I haven't met her in person.
Oh, neat.
No,
Okay. Well,
Hi.
no, we're
There you
far
are.
away from each other.
Yep.
yeah, there you guys are. She was just wrapping things up with Bam Bam, Wilma, and Pebbles, and look what I remembered to do, Ashley. I remembered to put your banner up.
Aww.
So there you go. But she covered very well. I think.
Sorry I was late.
Well, that's all right. I don't think we even realized you were going to come. I invited you on so you could. I figured you hadn't met her yet.
Nope.
So Ashley may want to see her dogs too. They're asleep, so it's easy. We don't have to chase them down.
Oh, isn't he beautiful? Oh,
Yeah,
my
he's
God.
sleeping off the neuter.
Yeah, he is. The brain surgery was so hard on him.
There you go.
Well, okay, so the neuter's looking good.
Hi, baby girl.
Look at Pebbles.
Aw.
And Wilma, well, she went off into her fenced-in area somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
But, wow.
Look at you representing, Kathy. Thank you.
Right?
Hey, we want to see that new T-shirt. I haven't been out to mailbox yet.
Yours is
look
in
at
there.
that Mountain Mama Pyrs and Pups
neat.
T-shirt. It's official. So, wow, it looks good too. All right, Kathy, thank you so much
Thank
for bringing them
you.
up here. And I'm
Kathy.
gonna move
Well,
you
let's
over
get
to the
let's get
side.
them good homes.
Yeah.
Yep, let's
for
get them
sure.
adopted.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that's why we're here. And now some of our viewers might be out of reach, like the UK. I don't think Ashley has transport to the UK.
Right.
We work on it.
I am, fostering them for a Utah rescue, but the dogs are in the Metro Denver area. So I suspect that's where they're going to end up, just because,
Right.
it's a good area. There's a lot of people out here that
Proximity.
can
Yeah,
adopt.
there are. Oh, yeah, there are people. So, and for the viewers that remember seeing the Colorado Rescue on, she's not with the Colorado Rescue. She's with the Mountain Mamas Pyrs and Pups Rescue. So, but everybody gets along just fine, right?
Yep.
You guys are all
love
friends.
Judy.
You're colleagues.
As long as we're getting the dogs adopted, we don't care who it is.
That's
That's
exactly right.
Yep, same end goal.
Let's see.
Steve, can we take a few seconds and have Ashley tell us about Mountain Mama?
Yeah, well, just a second. I'm going to respond to Mark. Mark, the answer to that is yes, you can use the same link. I didn't see your message earlier. So anyway, yeah, go ahead, Lisa and Ashley.
Hey, Ashley, I'm Lisa. I'm in Arizona with Great Pyrenees Rescue Society. First time that I've heard of Mountain Mama Peer Rescue, so I'd love to hear about your organization.
Well, thank you. So I have helped with Great Pyrenees Rescue Montana for several years with Carol. And we, a friend of mine and I got a land donation. So when Carol sort of broke away from Utah, we did Great Pyrenees Rescue Resources, Utah, Montana. And then we needed to start our own to take this land donation because our end goal is to have a sanctuary type place like Judy and her husband have in Colorado Springs.
Nice.
So we just kind of started there, and boy, you take one dog and all of a sudden you have 40, right? So that's what sort of happened. And because Utah helps with transport a lot from New Mexico, we get a lot of dogs from there, and that's where Kathy's dogs came from.
Okay. Excellent.
I haven't taken any dogs from Arizona, but you guys are not nearly as big a problem as New Mexico, and Texas has been a big
Right.
deal.
Because it's too hot to do anything in Arizona.
Right. Well, New
Roman used to
Mexico,
live there. He knows that.
Yeah.
All right. So now, Mark, I know you're going to be able to hear me. When the Android signed in, a banner came up, said that there is a known bug within the Android operating system right now, so there could be feedback. Now, Kathy was on an Android, and we didn't feedback with her, so we'll should hopefully be okay, unless you get too close to the laptop. So, all right. So now we got 2 more dogs to bring up, and then we're going to get to Roman, because Roman's got a lot to say. Because and if you ever see Roman, like his bathrobe series, okay, if you leave there without learning something new, then you need to stay awake during it, okay? That's the only way you could leave there without getting new knowledge, is if you fell asleep. So that being said, usually it's late for gentlemen, so we're going to bring Mita. We're going to do Mita first, plus she's easier. She's up there already. Wow, what a foot tapper that was, you know. Mark, am I supposed to bring, where's Mark? Mark left. So did,
Uh-oh.
I can tell you what I know about Mita. She's a good girl. Okay, moving on. There's Christine. There you are.
Yeah, I keep hitting the wrong button. Sorry.
That's okay. Our new producer, everybody. our fill-in producer.
This is not Mita.
That's Solace, right?
This is Sulas, and He's afraid of Mark's big beastie, so he's hiding in the corner.
Where'd you go? There you go. Now, what happened to the laptop? It went. Oh, there he is, right there. Let's bring him up, and make him bigger. There you are, Mark. Yeah. Now,
Okay.
right, we're going to get feedback if you're too close, definitely.
So this is Mita.
And how old is she?
She's
just under 3. She'll be 3 in February.
3. That's right. It said that in the video, didn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. Now she's a pretty good little dog, unless you have a cat, right?
Cats are unknown.
Okay, so cats are a no-no. Rena says she loves Mita's ears. Okay.
Aren't they lovely? I just love her markings.
And now that I've seen them a little bit closer, I kept confusing Mita with Solace, but the ears are a dead giveaway. All right.
Yes, that's what you look for.
And we got someone saying hi to Ashley.
That's my sister.
Oh, well, she wants to make sure you know she's watching. Okay. Does that mean she's watching you for every move you make? She screw up and she can tell you about it?
Oh, she definitely will. Yeah.
Okay, good. That's a good sister. So now, other than cats, she's and armadillos, if I remember right? From the last time she was on?
Yes, armadillos, absolutely. And we've had deer and coyote out too. And so, yeah, she definitely perks up her ears when those are around.
Right. And so we're going to get rid of a couple of settings here and turn up that laptop a little bit. There we go. Because you're muted because you have to be. So we should be fine now.
Right.
So what kind of...
turn on your... Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. So there shouldn't be any feedback.
I'm not hearing it from you.
No, it's all good.
Perfect.
All right, say something, Christine.
Check 1, 2.
Well,
Perfect.
something would have been good, but anyway, you're sounding good. I might even turn yours up just a little bit. So you want to go on? What else can you tell us about this girl? What kind of home what's her perfect home?
Another male. What's
Or a
the,
pack.
or pack.
Okay. Or
a
Dr.
chucket,
Crowley with her.
a chucket and a tough ball, preferably 2.
How long did it take her to settle in with you guys?
0 days.
Yeah,
Really? She was quick, huh?
Yeah.
pretty much.
That was like the opposite of Sully. Actually, Nita and Sully had been put together at headquarters. So they were together, I don't know how long before they came here back in July. And Sully, while he wasn't totally hesitant, he's definitely come a long way.
Now,
since he first got here.
when you went to get your next foster after your last one was adopted, you only intended to get one, right?
That's correct, yes.
What happened? You've got 2.
I saw Mita and Sully. They were in a room together, and I was ready to take her, and I looked over at Sully.
Emma,
Okay, we're gonna have to keep you muted and keep that, unless you got earbuds or something.
that's fine. I'll stand closer to Mark's laptop so you can hear me.
Okay. Well, actually, Mark's muted, and
No,
there you go.
one of the phones have to be not muted, but the sound has to be closed down because the sound reflects on the microphone on the other phone.
Right. It's got to be speakers and microphone. Yes. So anyway, in the meantime, when she went to get a foster dog, she went and got Mita, but Mita kind of said, "I'm not leaving without him," and that was Sully. Okay. So
Yeah.
how do you argue with the Great Pyrenees?
And I guess it was as much the look on Sully's face. So
Yeah. And he was a little bit of a
Don't leave
stinker in the
without me.
beginning.
they are really good friends, Renee.
Yes, they are.
Mm.
So now,
You want to go show him off?
Yeah. Well, he hasn't had his video yet. but-
okay, so yeah, we haven't done his video yet. While you're getting all set up there, let me play Sully's video. He goes by Sully, but to look him up on the Great Pyrenees Rescue Society.org, you got to look for Solas, S-U-L-A-S. So let me get his video queued up here. I'm sorry? All right, well, we're going to play his video now, and we'll make him big next time. Hey, since you got him first, now I got to figure out which one's Sully. I think that one's Sully.
There you go.
All right.
Yep, he's got freckles on his nose.
Oh, he does. Wow. Now he was a little handful when you got him. Probably still is somewhat, right?
A handful. Yeah.
Oh, yes, he can be. Yeah. Most times he's very
Well, he is gorgeous,
reserved and calm, but when he gets going, yeah.
Too far away from your
He's
router, Christine.
Oh yeah. So he can be a handful when no. So when he's at the park, he is pretty much out of it. He's in his comfort zone. He is running around. He is playing with other dogs. When we're talking about like at home with new people or new experiences, for some reason he's all nervous and reserved. But moment you take him out into the park, he is all play.
Well, maybe Roman will address that in his segment here coming up in a few minutes.
Yep.
But this is cool. Now, obviously, it would be great if somebody would adopt Mita and Sully together, right? But it's not required because they're not a bonded pair. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
It would be really nice because they basically, they're like best friends. They're not bonded, but they're best friends, and it keeps one getting lonely if the other one is adopted.
Right. And well, yeah, and also too, you don't have to worry about introductions with them either.
Exactly.
Right.
She was early on, didn't she?
Yeah, I said these two, they pretty much right off the bat, and Sully's really protective of her. But when they're at the park, they're running around, they're wrestling, they're getting dirty.
And they like to do zoomies through the mud puddles.
Oh yeah, both of them, they love running into the mud puddles.
Well, she's beautiful, dog. Both of them are
Yes.
beautiful.
Oh yeah, no, they we've just brushed them. We haven't. We should have given them a bath yesterday, but we didn't. We just brushed them a lot. So
I wouldn't worry too much about that, because we saw a picture of them side by side, and where apparently they had been recently groomed. They were gorgeous.
oh yeah, no, our groomer is the people who we go to for grooming. They are the best in our opinion.
All right, that's
Yeah.
good. And so they're not real quick to just shave somebody, are they?
Correct.
That's a good thing. Lisa, do you have any questions before we go the other way?
What about Sully? So we talked about Mita as the perfect home. So actually, the perfect home for them would be the two of them together, right? As you've said,
Correct.
because they've been living together and they get along so well. What do you think would be the perfect environment for Sully?
He could be alone.
Yeah.
He
So
could probably be alone, but yes, a companion, ideally female.
Okay.
yeah. So if you couldn't hear my mom, he said he can be solo, but preferably either solo or a pair, and the second would be preferably a female.
Mm-hmm. And just so happens, just so everybody knows, if you don't have a dog at home for him to play with, we can solve that problem because Mita is available for adoption too.
Right.
Problem solved.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So,
I would. It's not required. I would say somewhere in the country, because for it being more quiet. Because Mita, she does not like siren. She doesn't like sirens. She's not a big fan.
okay.
That's what sets her off barking. When they see the animals out when I'm walking them, they don't bark, and I'm concerned. I kind of try to encourage them because that's their purpose.
She looks mellow.
Guard. Yeah, I don't need guarding against the siren, or the cicadas, which is the other thing she'll bark at. Cicadas. Yeah, that was.
Fortunately, they don't come out every year, so I don't know about Texas.
They were around this year, and she would go out back during the summer and start to barking because they were here, and so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for bringing them on and showing them off. And
Sure.
we got to move forward. So Great Pyrenees Rescue Society.org, that's where Mita and Sully is, and Mountain Mamas Pyrs is in
He is so
Utah.
stinky cute.
That's where the other two are, or the other three actually, the Flintstone litter, except they're physically. I got that all right. So now we have a segment. Well, usually doesn't need any introduction, but if you're new to viewing today, and this is Roman. He is a kind of international behavior consultant. You work around the world, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
And we do acute. And actually, there might be a question that here now, but one of those dogs right there, Rome, time you were here, and that was Sully. I just don't remember the question.
Yeah. It was the digging. It was, are we on? So it was
Yeah, you're on.
digging. Yeah, okay. So it was digging and chewing.
Okay.
So that's
the
right.
dog-
He was chewing everything, and he was on his way to China.
Right. So
Pretty much.
usually
Yeah.
dogs who move to a new place, they go through something we call relocation stress. For those who have elderly people and then being moved to another place, you know what I'm talking about. It can cause from separation anxiety to aggression, frustration, depression, everything
I'm
can
gonna ask
fall
if I
into
have
that
a chance.
category. So it happens when the dog is being moved from a safe place into a not safe place, the dog going through a stress process. Now, what do dogs do when they get stressed? First of all, they need to calm themselves down. And then because it's a brain belly axis problem, the dog thinks the reason why he gets frustrated and stressed is because there's nutritional problem. So he's going to chew on things, he's going to eat on things. So first recommendation would be feeding multiple times a day. That calms the dog a lot down. So in case the dog goes into a trauma response, being afraid is being relocated again and is going through fear phase, we want to make sure that food at least is given multiple times a day in a safe environment. So no other dogs staring the dog down, not kids running around. The dog needs to feel safe. Now, digging is another version of getting out. Now, if the dog digs the fence line, he wants to go out. Where does he want to go? Well, if I'm being adopted by aliens, the first thing I want to get out is out of the spaceship, right? So if the dog wants to return home because he thinks that's where he has to go, it's normal for the dog to try to escape. That's why the first couple of weeks, we don't let the dog being loose. At least he has to be on a leash. Or we fortify the fence and making sure we're checking every day for leaks. Number one, put in a tag. So at least you know where your dog is digging out. Okay. For people who have bigger properties,
And
it's
what's a
difficult
tug?
to trace it. So putting a tag on, connected to a Wi-Fi, would be helpful
Oh,
at
a
least to see the
tag.
dog in.
You said tag. Okay, gotcha.
Tags. You know, Wi-Fi tags, like tag me, find me kind of thing. Now, some people go into the situation to put a fence collar on. That can be a tricky, slippery slope. The dog will get shocked and he still tries to get out. The more he gets shocked, the more he tries to escape. Okay, so that's why we do not recommend shock collars and fence collars, because they don't work in reality. Now, if you read the little instructions, tiny little description, it says an electrical fence is not a safe containment device because it's not always safe. So think away from there. Now, the next question, why the dog may dig. Some of them are hot, try to dig themselves into a cooler place. Now, hot can be because of food. So traditional Chinese medicine think they're heating foods and cooling foods. That's why we eat the lemon soup in the winter, right? And salad in the summer. These are cooling and heating foods. The dog may be too hot and he search cooling place by digging it out. Now, some dogs are very weird about hearing things and smelling things. Now, we know from cadaver search dogs, they can find people 25 feet below the ground buried, and they can still find them. So if one of the previous dogs have digged something in the property, the new guy will eventually find it and try to dig it out. Next question.
Oh, next question. I don't know. We didn't get, if any, on the email on the well, everybody's got perfect dogs. Well, if everybody's got perfect dogs, why are
Okay.
me and you so busy?
So yeah, right. So follow up on Sully. He's been here since July, so that's what, 4 months, or almost 5. So and he still hasn't settled in. And I guess my biggest concern is when he gets the throw, you know, the blanket, and eats some of that, and then mean, I don't want him to end up in the vet with surgery because he's eating these things.
Well, some dogs have hard time connecting with people. And the more you try to connect with the dog, sometimes he can come in predatory. It's like going out for a date and you just want to meet and the other person just asks you a lot of questions and what are you doing tomorrow? And you're like, I don't really want to tell you anything. So I think sometimes, especially for dogs who have been relocated a lot or never had another people involved, they're very hesitant to trust new people.
Yeah.
They are in a forced relationship in your home. And I think sometimes giving him more space and more leaving him alone and ignoring him instead of trying to communicate, let him alone.
Okay.
When he's ready, he will come
I'll
out.
ask him.
Okay. The most important thing is meeting his primary needs: healthy food, water, walk, and the basic things that he needs to do to feel safe. Okay. Making sure he has a place where he can retreat that is not in the center of events. Like, don't put that place in the living room and don't put it in the kitchen. If the dog has tendencies to be in the corners, maybe you want to dedicate that area as a safe place. Now, I prefer those dogs to connect with people first before they connect with dogs. But some cases, those dogs have been partners of another dog who is not part of his life anymore. So the dog is going through grief. He's expecting the other dog to show up. Sometimes those dogs who have been in this kind of situation, we call them kind of like, some people call it a codependent relationship. And that relationship is busted, and he may be the softer part of that relationship. He has nowhere to connect. There is no information for him to grab on. So you're just a stranger, and he has no clue what to do with you. So sometimes bringing in a second dog will help connect with that dog, and the other dog may become the bridge to the relationship with you. But it's always a slippery slope. I always recommend to talk about that.
Wow, that's
There is
pretty.
a comment here. Yeah, that's separation anxiety, and destruction is separation anxiety. So what Rena says, over the years, separation anxiety has developed, and it's something we need to take seriously. I think like 24% of U.S. population struggles with dogs with separation anxiety, and only few of them are actually classified as such because there is no clear definition what separation anxiety included. So there are different fields of people says that's separation anxiety, and people says like, no, this is separation anxiety, and some people says no, these are the symptoms of separation anxiety. It's kind of like try to find out what depression exactly is and what the symptoms exactly are. It's kind of like an open field a little bit. But a proper behavior assessment and kind of like tracing the history and the behavior of the dog long term will help us identify exactly what the dog is struggling with. But Reina's case, it stinks separation anxiety, and definitely something we can arrange. So if you need help with that, welcome to reach out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what do you say to the people that will ask, wait a minute, this is a guardian breed. They go to work when we go to bed. How can they have separation anxiety? What do you say to that?
We have to be careful with the classification. A guardian dog and separation anxiety any dog can have, no matter
That's right.
breed. It's actually a natural behavior because separation anxiety makes the dog being afraid to move in the essence. Okay. So if the mom has to go and leave the property and go get some food, and we see the dogs live usually in small groups of dogs. So there is the parent, the breeder call them alpha male and alpha female, and then we have the offspring. So the parents go hunting. There's another person or another dog taking care of that care. In that, what we want to do is we want the dog to be safe, so they don't bark, they don't whine, they just be quiet if the safe person or the safe dog is gone. But through the experience of every time the mom comes back and there's food connected to that, and because of the relationship, that safety and feeling safe that my mom will come back anyway, she always comes back, will heal the separation anxiety. Now, if the dog is being rehomed once, goes to the shelter twice, and goes back to another adopter third time, then that separation anxiety can be kicked in. But also if the dog is stressed, fearful, and there's no support around, he's going to have separation anxiety and tries to get away with it. So
separation anxiety. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What was that?
I started to interrupt you. I didn't know you weren't finished. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm pretty much done. But if anyone has any questions, I would only recommend to people to reach out to professionals who have a certification for separation anxiety, because it's not something that you can take out of the box and start like, yeah, I read a book, and therefore I do separation anxiety treatment. No, every person is unique, every dog is unique, every home is unique, every trauma is unique, and every breed trait is unique. So we have to see how complex it is to just call it out the separation anxiety. Sometimes it's not really separation anxiety, it's just frustration because the dog doesn't have the person he wants to do the job with present. And so the dog may show signs of separation anxiety, but he's just frustrated that he doesn't have access to the person.
And another one is if your dog gets bored, he can do similar damage that, they do with separation anxiety. He's trying to keep busy.
Yeah. So usually we see stress is a major factor of those behaviors. And destructive behavior can be frustration, can be lack of nutrients, can be fear, can be redirected aggression, all these things can be, but that's why we have to kind of pay attention and not really focusing on what the client says, what it is, but really go deep and ask several questions to find really out what's behind that. Because we're not focusing on the behavior the dog is showing, we're showing what makes the dog show that behavior. Make sense?
Yep. Separation anxiety, he's absolutely right. It's complex, okay? And somebody really has to know what they're doing. Wow.
Next question.
I don't have any more questions here. You emptied my
Ashley posed a question, a really good question about littermates and bonded pairs. Ashley, you want to?
Yeah, so the question is, how do we determine if siblings are bonded pair or can thrive apart? Yeah, it's a great question. Now, we have to see that there are different types of relationships dogs have, and they start with, being littermates, and then they grow up. In reality, at some point, there is a system that happens internally that when the dog gets on an age where he is sexually active, it becomes kind of like moving away from the family and building my own family. So that going apart is something that happens. Now, if dogs cannot function on their own and they attach to a partner, because likelihood is that their parents were gone or early removed from the litter, it becomes a survival relationship. So the dog can only survive because of the other dog. Doesn't mean they're besties. It means that one dog knows what to do, is more confident, and the second dog tries to hook up on that and get information from there. It's an unhealthy relationship.
Yes.
Now, shelters and rescues usually separate those guys by force. It's very dangerous to do that. We have to really look into first helping them become more confident on their own. Sometimes we have to do some special treatments from a behavior perspective, sometimes supplements and sometimes nutritional, help them out a little bit. Sometimes they have to start trusting themselves. So we have to do some exercises to gain more confidence on making decisions, because right now all they do is trust only one source, and that source is only the other dog. And it can be very problematic, especially if the other dog feels very controlled. It can be redirected aggression. This is what people says littermate syndrome. When the aggression happens, is because the other dog is fed up having the other guy always on his butt. Like, leave me alone. No, what do we do? What are we doing? Like, shut up. And then we have another issue that if one dog does something, the other dog wants to do the same. And that becomes a problem because there is also a rule dispute in that connection. So the dog is doing something, the other dog chimes in, and the other dog says it's not your job to do, and kind of try to shut him up. Or that relationship gets so stressful, and the other dog reacts to the stress and attacks the stressor because it causes stress.
That's right.
Like it's
I
kind of like having a
personally-
Karen next door and you want to get rid of her.
Now, personally, I have never been able to successfully, in my opinion, detach a bonded pair, but I've very seldom tried. Okay.
Right.
And
So I had a situation that I worked with a bonded pair. It was in Arizona, Lisa. There were two Chihuahuas who actually came from a breeder, and they were always together. And the breeder didn't have anything to do with them and just got rid of them. So somebody adopted them from a Chihuahua rescue, and he ended up in a home. And these dogs were just in the home. It was the mother and the daughter Chihuahua family, right? And they were shaking. It was a 24/7 shaking situation, and they would not get out of their crate. So they poop in the crate, they eat in the crate, they pee in the crate, they live in the crate. There was no getting out. So after 3 months, the person was frustrated, reached out, and we started having a process of helping those dogs to separate. We actually start having two crates separate next to each other. And then we start having a barrier next to each other. And then we start feeding the one dog. And then we were feeding the other dog. We start making things in separate times. But the whole process for them to actually leave the crate, we had to black out the living room, create a little enrichment land, and that enrichment land become the safe area that they can come out. What we start doing is start putting treats around, scattered treats. We stop feeding in the crate, and then we put the ball in front of the crate, so they had to move a little bit more around the crate. Slowly, we start creating little bridges. The food out of the crate, so you have to stretch yourself. You barely can touch it. Maybe make a step out of the crate, and finally we were able to feed them outside of the crate, and we start creating that separation. It took us about a half a year to get those dogs being confident being in that area that we call safe place, and another half a year for them actually to be free roaming in the house. So it was a year situation.
there was a lot of parts to that, wasn't there?
Not something that can be shocked out or correct out of it. Sometimes it's a healing process.
Do you have time for one more question?
Sure.
So the female Great Pyrenees that I have was obviously deprived of food, very underweight. Since I've gotten her, I've put on 18 pounds. She gets fed a minimum of 5 times a day, but she is just obsessed with food to the point where clean dishes, dirty dishes, compost, anything that's left on the counter that she sees as a food source is something she wants to steal. And is this just something that she needs the time to get it through her head that the food will be there when she needs it? Or it's made me clean the kitchen at night, which is a good thing. But,
Yeah.
I'd just like her to be more secure in how she feels about food.
Right. So please bear with me and be open-minded to this the sentence that I will use. When we look at deprivation trauma, it damages the body in cellular level. So the trauma is stuck. So if we look at it from an energetic perspective, there is a clump of energy, dark energy, stuck in that belly, and whatever that is attached to. Some of you may know that some people have always shoulder pain, like pain, and then you ask the question, do you feel responsible for the entire world? And like, yeah, I'm carrying that weight on my shoulders. That's why you have shoulder pain. And some people have lower back pain because in their early childhood they had a trauma for them never feeling safe where they're supposed to feel safe. So we see how the body holds the score. I don't know if some people have read the book. There's a book up there on the shelf. Dogs go through the same process. So if they are traumatized in their early puppyhood, food deprivation, and that idea is being generalized, they never feel safe without food. So what I use is for that to kind of going into a healing process, I use a multiple feeding schedule. Usually also start consistent every 2 hours, meal. I don't care if the dog gets fat or whatever. That's not priority right now. Priority is for the brain to feel safe that exactly in 2 hours I'm going to get food. All of a sudden, you don't care about worrying about food because you know it's going to happen in 2 hours from now. Then you start creating a different feeding schedule. Every 2 hours, every 3 hours, every 1 hour, every 3 hours, every 4 hours. And so you have a different schedule. Okay? In that schedule, first we are consistent every 2 hours, and then we change locations of that food in every 2 hours. And then we change the timer on these 2 hours, and then we change the timer and the location. So the dog knows that somewhere there is always food in different locations, and I get always food. Well, not always 100%, but usually. It's like knowing that the gas station has always your salt and your pepper if you run out of it. You don't need to worry about it anymore. Okay? That's the healing process. But Exhibit A, if you have the physical body where the trauma sits, trauma is not really something physical. It's something that's energetically. And because trauma is stuck energetically in a certain organs or locations in the cellular membranes or sometimes in the fascia tissue, we can work on that trauma energetically. Okay? It's like, oh yeah, I have pain. Okay, why are you touching it if it pains? Because we have energy in our hands and we try to calm it down by putting some energy to that. Okay? Petting a dog is also an exchange of energy. It's so intense that some people, if you go to a Chinese restaurant and if you give them a credit card, they're going to grab the credit card with 2 fingers like this. They don't give you one. It's because they don't want to exchange that energy between you and them. So there is something behind that several cultures believe in. And so I want to put that out there. Sometimes trauma has to be worked energetically and not just only physically. Right? And so we have to see that a dog, beyond his physical body, there is an energy body around that can also have trauma. And so healing that part can also affect the body. It's kind of like having a wrong blueprint and you want to build a house, and the blueprint will be the energy blueprint and the house will be the physical body. So if you have the blueprint wrong and that has a trauma or missing a page, the house will be wrong. I hope that makes sense.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, thank you.
Okay, so it needs to be looked a little bit a broader image, and it's not something you can condition. You cannot just give the dog food and that's going to go away, right? Sometimes it's time related, sometimes it's event related, sometimes it's relationship related, sometimes there's an energy aspect to it.
Oh, I know it's definitely a time thing, and I just want to see that I'm handling it in the way that's gonna solve the issues, whether it's in 6 months or yeah.
Next question.
Yes, stop. Yeah.
No questions? Good.
Yes. Steve, are you muted? I can see him talking.
Yeah, I was muted. My dog was barking. Imagine that.
We missed you.
Wow. So, yeah, counter surfing. Everybody will tell you the easiest way to stop that is clear your counter off. Not everybody can do that. Okay. So, but you're already feeding multiple times a day, and if you can start structuring that, and then you can rearrange it. That's actually a very cool method I've forgotten about.
Yeah.
Actually,
But again,
I only knew about
it's
part
not
of it.
always 100% that method that fixes that particular problem. We have to really map it out and see what do we know from a history, what do we know from a behavior, what do we know about the dogs, breed traits, all these things play together. Some dogs are genetically predisposition to not be able to handle stress because something in the genetics is not really catching up there. So there are treatments for that, medical support or herbal support, and sometimes working hard long term, focusing on one particular thing can make the shift. This is the problem with forced breeding and not having natural selection, because we breed things into it and then we end up with a problem and we can't get rid of it.
That's right. Absolutely. Yes. Wow. And so behavior is actually pretty complex. Everybody that's worked with me.
With behavior with behavior training, we cannot focus only the behavior. We have to look at the bigger image.
And that's what I was getting. When was the last time anybody that I've worked with, you have a behavior? When was the last time that you actually saw me target the actual? We have to target what is causing the behavior. Okay?
Right.
And if it's going on too long, just because we take the behavior goes away right away, especially if it's going on a long time. Each dog is different. And wow. This is cool. Thank you, Roman. And I can't wait to see you after Thanksgiving. I caught two of Roman's shows last night, and the one he invited me to, I couldn't go.
Well, the other one was kind of tough. It talks about when a dog killed another animal, what to do about it, and what happens around that. It was some people complained about my image. It's like, oh, this is, I lost my dog. I feel offended by it. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Well, always remember that if Roman does a video, and like if he does it on his page, it's all Facebook doesn't delete them. Okay. Right. So you can go back, just like our show, you can go back and watch the replay. Okay. Because it's still there. Now, next rerun our Halloween show we had on 29th. Remember when we went trick-or-treating with the dogs? Wasn't that awesome? You were there, Lisa.
It was awesome.
We had a ball, and Ashley's sitting there with her gears a turning. We're probably going to end up having to go trick-or-treating with that. And
For
then
real.
go trick-or-treating with GPRS and so on. That's okay. We can do that.
Hey, Steve, we have Pyrs on couches. Can we do a last swing by and take a look at them?
Yeah, they look good. Where are they?
We've got
There
Nina
we
and
go.
Sulis
Yeah,
are
let's do
together,
that.
and both the puppies are together now.
I thought you was going to say Pyrs don't belong on couches. You're telling the wrong guy.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Boy, I'll tell you, that's my boy. There's two dogs that get along fine.
Yeah.
And you don't have introductions. So if you adopt Mita and Solace together, I mean, it's safe. If you got 5 dogs at home already and you adopt them together, well, we might, you might want to talk to Roman or myself first before you get them. All right. Because we got to do introductions now. They are gorgeous. Nice work, you guys.
Yeah.
I thought you didn't brush them.
There's dirt on his leg.
All right. And sorry, but we got puppies.
Puppies.
Well, Kathy, how many dogs do you have there? I see some extra dogs now.
Yeah.
Just the one, the lab hound dog that.
Oh, so that's Bam Bam.
Well, no, that's Bam Bam and Hennessy out in the field right there.
Okay. Right,
Yeah.
right. That's what I was asking.
She's a brindle as well.
Now, I did see Wilma come up, but
Wilma
I missed
came
it.
up.
Yeah. But, yeah, I liked her name. And if they change them, that's up to them, because we'll always know them as Bam Bam and Pebbles, because that's how we know them right now. So if somebody tells you that they've got a dog named whatever, and then they say, well, it used to be named Bam Bam. Okay, I remember that dog.
I remember that dog.
That's a hard one to forget. Thank you, Kathy. All right, everybody. Thanks for another show. And now, did anybody else have any internet issue there that you'd seen? because I think this internet issue is actually mine.
Mhm.
And me and Spe- chat on the phone because this is gigabit internet. I pay a lot of money for this to not work. That's not how that's supposed to be. So, all right. Ashley, thanks for coming up here and letting me adopt from you. This is where I got pickles from, Roman.
Oh,
It's
okay.
from Ashley.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you.
And she learned a big lesson too. So don't adopt an Oshkosh, Connecticut anymore.
Yeah, check that off the
Well,
list.
only because she can't service the area. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's why I got him. She couldn't get him back, and I just asked her, "Can you get him to me?" Can you get him? She said, "Yeah." And he never left.
The
I
perfect
forgot how
scenario,
to
really.
Right?
Yeah, I forgot what fostering meant. So, and then Roman, he works very closely with the Rogue Valley Humane Society there in Oregon, and their part of your healing center is up because of a grant, right? So now, can other dogs go to that part, or is that pretty exclusively to Rogue Valley?
What's the question again?
Oh, where you had Manny and the other dogs, that building that you had brought in, is that
Yeah,
exclusive to
I
Rogue
had
Valley?
dogs, all of them being adopted.
But
So
what
we
I'm
have-
getting at, if somebody can't come out there and say, "Can you work with my dog?" and you would be able to say, "Yeah, leave him for a day and let me evaluate," because that's not what that's for. Is that correct? I don't know. I don't
No,
remember.
Not really. Basically,
for-
an in-between home, between the shelter for a long-term stay or traumatized dog,
See, I lose this
not feeling
toolbar,
safe in a
and
home
it's
environment,
on this is which is
regular human
Okay.
schedule.
Right. So,
But I do support people who have
To feed
who
them.
open to that concept, like shelters or rescues, who says, "I need that home. I need to create that temporary home." It's a 120 square foot shed. This is usually the restrictions how big a shed can be, and so 120 square foot usually is the limit that the town usually will permit without any permit. You set it up, give it power, and then sorry, and then start working with the dog. So it's basically a 120 square foot crate.
right.
with-
So if somebody wanted to send you a dog, technically you could say yes if you didn't have one in at the time.
Correct. Yeah. There are a couple of restrictions. The dog should not be dangerous to humans because I don't live alone. So if something happens to the dog, I don't want to attack anyone.
Mhm.
Okay.
And the dog leaving that space, he should go to a home.
Right.
He
Right,
should not
right.
go back to the shelter or back to the rescue. So, like, if somebody says, "I want that dog, I want to take that dog," he comes here, is going to stay for at least 1 week to kind of settle in. Then, second week is for the assessment, and we know exactly what's happening. We can add 1 or 2 weeks on top of it, but usually in a month, should the dog be stable enough to go to the final home.
All right.
In some cases where there's severe trauma and there's the potential out there, so we're going to plan for long term. Unfortunately, funding is low because I'm not an organization like that. So I was looking to get a second shed to be able to be able to work with 2 dogs at the same time.
Well, maybe the people listening to this, maybe they'll help.
Right.
You never know. But anyway,
But I feel that
go ahead.
I want people to be independent and learn that prospect. And I always invite people to come and work with that particular dog in that shed. So they learn how to do that and take that knowledge back with them. For a rescue who has maybe 100, 120 dogs a year, would be a great thing to do, to have that in between, like transition home, for them to do the proper evaluation. Like, how does a dog deal with separation anxiety? How does a dog deal leaving himself out through the doggy door? So all these things are set up. Doggy door, timer, fence, everything is there. It looks like a house without the kitchen and the bathroom and everything else around. It's just one room house. I have to sometimes spend a couple of nights there for the dog to learn how to handle the bed. Some dogs never seen a person sleeping, so that's very stressful to the dog. Some dogs are afraid to go on the bed, and then you turn around and he gets scared and startled, and you don't want to bite a child or a person. So these are things have to be kind of taught. So it's not something that training is kind of like, giving treats and let him do things. It's kind of like changing the mindset, what the dog can actually experience in a home, like a vacuum cleaner, a broom falling down, food is on the table, and you know, being destructive. All these things have to be addressed in that room.
Yep. Wow. All righty. So, well, that's it. We're late. I hope you didn't have an appointment on top of the hour. So, all right, everybody. Thank you for supporting us and watching the show. And this was a good show. And even Lori said so. All right. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Everything